I don't like this YouTuber because they're biased about this. I don't like this YouTuber because they're biased about that. Because they're biased, they're not real news. Shut up, okay? Okay, through all of humanity, news has been biased. I would argue that news VTubers and just news YouTubers in general showing more of their bias and evolving to become more biased makes them actually more legitimate news sources in the eyes of history. And let me break down why that is. Despite anyone and everyone's claims all throughout history, everybody says that they are the one true source of news, that they've got the right information, their information is unbiased. Most news places will say that, and to their credit, most news places start actually being pretty unbiased. They reach for the widest possible range of information. The issue with that is that that's incredibly unsustainable without a fuck ton of capital and without a lot of planning. It's really, really difficult. Naturally, over time, it just becomes easier for places to work with the people they form connections with and do stories about things that their audiences connect with, and slowly, organically, every place will form a bias. However, online, it's a lot more stark and surprising for some reason to everyone. Historically, like newspapers or television, they form their bias over like 10 to 20 years. And at that point, you've kind of just like grown into it and it's molded you. You see that as your news source. That's why like the CNN and the Fox Newses of the world are like so like all encompassing and have such a vice grip on older generations. Is because they don't see that as super biased. They see the other side as biased and they see their side as the truth. In reality, they've just slowly become more and more biased as time goes on. That's just the nature of news. Even radio was like that back in the day. Radio stars would have their favorite sports team. They would have their own political opinions. It's just the nature of news. However, things being online now, we're seeing the Philip DeFrancos of the world. We're seeing the false IDs of the world. We're seeing actual old traditional news networks of the world gaining these points like way faster due to the nature of how information travels. Bias evolves far faster. Places that start saying that they are the unbiased true news source will evolve into their biases quicker, depending on their connections and their communities, because they've reached out to so many more people so much quicker, and their audiences have just as much of a strong opinion as the people that give us that news. For there to be a healthy ecosystem online, that means that we need to accept that these places have biases and understand that and not act surprised when their biases show. If you understand what you're consuming, it's easier to take a look at it objectively. It's not their job to be totally objective and unbiased. They are presenting information that they have decided is profitable to them. At the end of the day, they are giving you what they want to give you. Doesn't matter what they claim. Their job is just to deliver you interesting shit. It is your job as a consumer to control what you consume. And if you don't like it, or you don't agree with it, it's not their fault. It is something that you need to look at yourself and come to different decisions. Maybe change your mind about the things that are being presented, or maybe find someone else that more closely aligns. That's why it's more important than ever that we have multiple news sources. In the VTuber scene, we have things like False ID, we've got Kiyomaru, we've even got Rev Says Desu. And some people would argue they're more tabloid news than like news, or that they're like supermarket shelf level. Like, that doesn't make them any less news. You are just witnessing hyper development in action. They all need to exist, and there will be more people with more strong points of view that you are going to disagree with that are going to be legitimately news. So in your eyes, if being biased is shitty, news tubers becoming shitty makes them real news. It makes it such that they have hit the final point of evolution. And I think that is a good thing. So go watch your Fox News equivalent of anime creature. I don't give a shit.